all these 25-year-olds are French bulldogs.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy. Wait, what am I doing? Welcome back to Dear Shandy listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Doing okay. How you doing?
Oh, I was going to ask if you were going to ask me.
I did.
It loses its oomph if I have to ask you.
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's Q&A day. I always like a Q&A day.
It's getting back to roots.
The roots, what we're meant to be doing.
The foundation.
Yeah, we kind of got a little sidetracked for a while. Continue to be sidetracked.
3 years.
The heart and soul of Dear Shandy. We've got some good cues today. Shall we get going?
We do? Are they good? Or are you just saying that? Is that a pleasantry or is that true?
Well, I mean, I think that all the cues that I select.
Oh,
are
you're
good.
like you're like at the restaurant where you're like, what's good today? What's good on the menu? And they're like, oh, everything here is good. Like, oh, great.
Look, I'm not going to pretend that every cue we receive is like an amazing cue, but oftentimes they are actually. They're all really good. It's just some of them are just too long. I'm going to do that thing I do again, where I remind our Shandies that if you are sending novel-length questions, that is probably going to keep your question from being chosen.
You know what we could do? We could have another segment of Dear Shandy called Story Time.
Okay.
Where we read the longest questions we've gotten.
Okay, and then just don't give any feedback.
That's it. It's just a story.
Just read it. Okay, do you feel ready to get going?
Yeah.
All right. This, by the way, will be the last Q&A of 2023.
Wow, 2023.
Yeah. And do you want to know which Q&A number this episode is?
This would be, I'm going to guess. We're looking at Q&A number 60.
Are you serious? Is that what you really think this is?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Okay, no. Q&A 50.
No.
48.
No.
56.
No.
45.
No, but you're getting really warm.
43.
No.
42.
No.
40.
No.
44.
Yes.
Nailed it.
All right, let's get going. This first question.
Reggie Jackson.
What?
44. That was his number.
Oh, okay.
Remember we had the story about Reggie Jackson?
Yeah, he
Told
was
my
a real
friend
dick.
To go F off.
Yeah, he was a dick to a lot of people.
Number 44. Retired his number.
Okay.
Yeah, no one else who's a Yankee can ever have the number 44.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. When you retire the number, it's like when you're so good, you're like, we can't have another player dilute your number. Derek Jeter also, number 2. Never again.
Wait, how does one reach that point? Like, who decides whether or not you are like forever number worthy?
I think the team. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Who they're deciding?
It's like a hall of. It's like having a star and the star. What is that? The celebrity.
Yeah, like the Walk of Fame.
Yeah. Right.
I think that the team. It's like the management of the team just votes, and I think I think it's a given. Honestly, I think when someone's number is retired, it's like everyone knows it's going to be retired. It's like when Derek Jeter was retired. It's like no one's like, oh, maybe Derek Jeter wasn't that good. No, of course he's getting retired.
I just feel like that sucks for someone who was sort of on the cusp.
Yeah, the cusp ones I'm not sure about. That's a good question. Like maybe someone was retired and they're like, oh no, that number should stick around.
Yeah.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, like he's retiring and he's like waiting for the announcement. And everyone's like, well, nice knowing you.
Yeah. And then the new young player comes on the team. He's got his number. And he's like, oh, I see how it is.
Okay, so this first question is from Anonymous. Dearest Shandy, I will start this email by giving Sharleen what she wants. This is the show I look forward to every week. I love your dynamic, and it is so refreshing to see an example of a healthy relationship that shows nonstop laughter and being able to disagree while maintaining respect.
Wait, that's what you want?
Is that?
You want praise?
Do I give the impression of one? I'm just reading the emails. I select questions that don't give praise.
That was very passive aggressive.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of taken aback by that.
No, I think that was done in like a patronizing baby voice.
I do not, by the way, need praise in an email to select an email. It makes no difference. Whether or not you praise Dear Shandy will have no bearing on whether or not your question is chosen.
I'm impressed you chose this question after that clear passive-aggressive slight.
I liked the question.
Okay, wow, it must be a good question.
Oh, I mean, I guess I don't take things personally.
Well, now we can take the gloves off.
Look out, Anonymous. Here we come. Now to my question. I, 24 female, live with one of my best friends, 28 female, in New England. This is my first apartment that I can call my own and enjoy having my own space to come home to. Here's the issue. My roommate and her boyfriend, 30, have been dating for about 3 to 4 years now, and him and I have been friends since I dated my first boyfriend and before they started dating. I enjoy her boyfriend a lot, but the problem is he's the type that takes up a lot of space in a room and will often occupy main living spaces when he is over and rarely cleans up after himself. Soon after moving into our apartment this summer, she made him a key without asking me if it was okay. I had a very significant reaction to this news because not only was I not aware this was happening and she didn't ask permission, I simply do not want him to have access to my apartment to enter whenever he pleases. I told her then that it made me very uncomfortable that he could just come and go as he pleases, and while she understood where I was coming from, she also didn't want to have to ask for it back. Am I the asshole? Should I be okay with someone who does not pay our rent to have access to our apartment? Am I overreacting? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts, Anonymous.
I feel like there's certain pieces of information I could have probably used.
Oh, really? What do you think's missing?
How long have they been dating?
She said 3 to 4 years.
Oh, I missed that part.
She also was friends with him before her friend and him started dating.
Right.
Since she was dating her now ex.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's complicated.
It's a little complicated. It really comes down to, well, first of all, I think it was a weak move for her roommate to not tell her.
Totally.
There's no question about that.
Well, especially since it sounds like they're friends. She said best friends. So they were friends before they were roommates.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely a faux pas. Definitely.
Agreed.
No question.
Yes.
Does that make her an asshole?
I don't think Anonymous is the asshole.
No. Anonymous is definitely, no, I'm talking about the roommate.
Friend. Yeah.
The roommate.
Yeah.
Does it make the roommate an asshole? And I don't think it rises quite to the level of asshole. What I think it rises to is sloppy.
Yeah, I get the impression that her best friend thinks of them all just as friends because of the history here. There's a lot of history here. You know, this isn't just a guy that her friends started dating. It sounds like they've been in the same friend circle for a long time. And I can see why her friend was just like, oh yeah, like we moved in, like here's a key, like what,
Sure.
No big deal. I do think she should have asked for permission. It's a courtesy thing. And I think this is all a red herring for what really needs to happen, which is a conversation with the boyfriend or with the friend about her boyfriend about maybe not occupying so much real estate in the apartment and just being messy and cleaning up after himself.
I actually think that you're 100% right. I think that's the real problem. The key, I think, is the straw that broke the back.
Yeah.
I think she's had it. The issue here, first of all, she trusts him. She's been friends with him forever.
Yeah. It's not a safety
This is
thing.
not he's not going to bring over crazy people.
No.
He's not going to have house parties there when they're not there. The problem is he's a slob and he's not respecting the space.
Yeah.
He doesn't live there. He doesn't pay rent.
I think it's also his comfort in the common areas. It's not like he's entering the apartment to then go straight to his girlfriend's room. It sounds like he's entering the apartment and just like lounging
Making
on the
himself
sofa.
at home.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to share the TV with
I
him.
gotta be honest, that would annoy me.
Annoy the hell out of me.
She's like moved into her first place away from home. You know, she's excited to have her own space and then she has to deal with this. I would be annoyed.
What I would say is this. I don't think the key is really that much of an issue.
I agree.
What I think the key allows for is an entree into the conversation about the whole situation.
Yes, with key comes great responsibility.
Yes, same
If you
here.
have a key to this apartment, it also means that maybe you can wash a dish in this apartment.
Yeah.
You know, refill the toilet paper when you've used it up.
Yeah.
If you finish the toilet paper, you could go buy more toilet paper.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, it's a privilege and a responsibility.
Yeah, the holder of the key must also participate in the duties of the home.
Yes. If he's not paying rent, the least he can do is make it so he's not causing more work for the people who do pay rent.
As a matter of fact, the only people I've ever given a key to
Key. Just capital K, key.
the key.
Yeah.
The key to the castle.
Key, I mean, the key's a big step.
It's a big deal. Are people who are doing chores while we're away. So
Yeah.
like if we go away, I need my plants watered or I need some packages picked up. I give someone my key and I give the person I give that key to, I trust implicitly.
Yes.
And I only give keys to people that not only I live with, but people I plan on spending a long time with. Like I've had girlfriends who didn't get a key
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when you gave me a key, you were like,
It's a big deal.
well, and I was kind of like, yeah, thanks. You're like, no, This is a big deal.
That's so, see, I'm me. I said the thing.
Never talked about this, but like, yeah, you gave me the key. And I was just like, oh yeah, thanks, whatever. And you were like, no, this is a big moment. I'm giving you the key. You wanted like to have
fanfare.
Yes.
I'm not a key giver.
No.
But you didn't know that.
No, I
didn't. But I don't give keys.
Some guys are more loose with their keys.
Yeah. I'm not loose with my keys.
Okay. Now that I know you better, it's actually kind of amazing you gave me a key as early as you did.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That's why when you were like, I was a little disappointed. I expected the royal treatment.
You want me to bow down?
The giving of the key commences.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for this key.
Yeah, it's like knighting you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I had no idea then what I know now. Okay, well, I think we've answered this. Anonymous, you are not the asshole. We think you have a right to be upset, but we really think the main thing you're upset about is the fact that this guy is a slob.
And that is annoying. If you're not paying rent and you're a slob.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like this will turn into a conflict if it doesn't first start with a nice conversation.
Yeah, it starts with a nice conversation. Yeah. And if there's resistance, then we've got trouble.
We've got trouble,
This is the beginning of a war. This is how wars start. Yeah.
All right, Anonymous, good luck. Oh, and I forgive you.
Don't be a selfish jerk. Be green with these earth breeze.
Because I do think a lot of us, perhaps unwittingly, are being selfish jerks by using regular laundry detergent that comes in liquid form, arrives in those large plastic containers, 90+% of which end up in landfill. And to begin with, that bottle is 90+% water.
I was doing some math the other day, and I figured out that 700 million plastic laundry detergent jugs equals the size of a small town. So imagine going to a small town where the whole town is just laundry detergent jugs. And if everyone used Earth Breeze, that town wouldn't exist.
Meanwhile, with Earth Breeze Eco Sheets, look at this. For our listeners, I'm holding what looks like a generously sized index card. And this thing is actually laundry detergent. You toss it in your wash. Like, look, I'll tear it right now. You basically make it the size you need it to be. For a medium load, you only need a half sheet. It's safe for sensitive skin. It can be used in hot and cold water. It cleans every bit as well as any other detergent I've ever used. This is the future. This is what we should all be doing. We're all doing laundry constantly. Can you imagine if everyone in this country suddenly switched to this? How fewer jugs of plastic would end up in landfill, how much less fuel would be used to ship those jugs around the country.
This is the biggest no-brainer I've seen in a hell of a long time.
Yeah, sometimes going green is, you go in with the best of intentions, and then when you're trying to do it, you're like, actually, this is really inconvenient. This is, you're right, a total no-brainer because it doesn't change your life at all. In fact, look at this envelope. This is what comes to you. 60 loads of detergent. Look at the size of this.
Right, here, just here, come here.
You didn't even feel that land.
No, it was like heavy air.
Also, I absolutely love this, and it feels very festive. It feels like the right holiday spirit. With every purchase you make, Earth Breeze will donate 10 loads of detergent to a charitable cause of your choice.
And to date, they've donated over 100 million loads.
Oh, doesn't that make you feel good? Don't you want to support the kind of company that does that?
Don't you?
So right now, our listeners, the Shandys, can get started with Earth Breeze and save 40%.
Go to earthbreeze.com/Shandy.
That's earthbreeze.com/Shandy to get 40% off your subscription. earthbreeze.com/Shandy. Do, 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 do. Oh, Andy, you look so refreshed, so comfortable, so cozy, because you have been resting on your new Cozy Earth silk pillow.
I have been looking for the perfect pillow for literally decades, and I have found it.
I feel like the quest for the perfect pillow is very relatable. I'm going to be honest, we had high hopes for this pillow. It's filled with 100% long strand mulberry silk. It's squishy, but not too squishy. It has the right height. It's a perfect pillow.
You know, I knew Cozy would come through. I knew this would be the perfect pillow. I told you so.
And we can never not talk about Cozy Earth's bed sheets, which are made from viscose from bamboo. I mean, that fabric is so soft and it only gets better with age. Every time you wash it, it becomes softer.
Most sheets show their true colors after a wash.
Most fabrics, even with clothes, I'll wash it once and be like, oh, apparently I was never supposed to wash this. I feel the same way about sheets. Meanwhile, with Cozy, they only get better. They become softer, yet they are still super durable and yet temperature regulated.
I would like to make it known that every day, every part of my day involves Cozy Earth. From the joggers to the towels to the bed sheets to the pillow to the cuddle blanket.
Also, it's that time of year, the holidays, gifts, in case you've been dragging your feet or maybe you've been like scratching your head. You don't know what to get someone. Cozy Earth bed sheets. Are you kidding me?
And they might not know right away. They'll be like, oh, you got me a pillow. Oh, you got me bed sheets. And then they'll look at it and feel it. And they'll be like, oh, you got me a pillow. Oh, you got me bed sheets.
Yeah. And I love a company that stands behind their product. All Cozy Earth products can be returned or exchanged within 100 days.
And include an additional 10-year warranty against defects.
So here's our gift to you this holiday season. Go to CozyEarth.com and enter promo code Shandy to get up to 40% off.
But hurry, this holiday offer ends soon. Go to CozyEarth.com, promo code Shandy, CozyEarth.com.
All right. This next question is from S. As on the letter. Dear Shandy, I'm a huge fan of the both of you. I love and think often of the answers you give on the podcast. I have a lot of respect for your opinions.
Oh.
Thank you, S.
Thank you.
And just a reminder that had no bearing on me choosing this question. I did not require that.
Can you imagine you just comb through the questions like, not nice enough.
No compliment. Next.
Almost nice enough.
I'm S, 28 female, and the person in question is my fiance, A, 33 male. We have been together for 7 years and have 2 beautiful children together. I am currently a stay-at-home mom, and he works to support our family. I have a handful of friends that I talk to and see every once in a while, but I really enjoy being home with my family. A, meanwhile, is an extrovert and I am more introverted. A has recently joined a new friend group that are nice, but are big partiers and like to go out a lot and stay out late. A has been going out with them every weekend and not coming home until 5 or 6 a.m.
Damn.
I told him that I don't feel comfortable with him doing this, and he said he doesn't understand why, because he isn't doing anything I should worry about. He says he goes to bars, works on cars, or hangs out at his friend's house.
Works on cars till 5 in the morning?
That's a good point. You find it suspicious.
In the bin of good excuses, this is an excellent one. Like, can you imagine if I came home at 6 in the morning, like stinking drunk, and I was like working on cars?
Well, what's interesting about that is that you can have to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, that's you don't make that excuse unless it's true. Like, honestly, or you're a genius.
I asked him if he'd care if I went out and did the same thing, and he said he wouldn't care because he trusts me just as long as I wasn't driving drunk. I'm not concerned that he's out cheating or anything. He's like how Sharleen, I believe you once described Andy, something like flirty but faithful.
I want that on my tombstone.
Still, am I the asshole for trying to put a curfew on him, or is he not being respectful about how I feel? What would you do if you were in this situation? Thank you for taking the time to read my question. Much love, S.
How often is he going out like this?
She said on weekends. He goes out with them every weekend, not coming home until 5 or 6 the next morning.
And he's got 2 kids at home? Mm-hmm. They're engaged but not married?
Yeah, they're engaged. They have 2 kids.
Okay.
They've been together
So
7 years.
They're married, essentially. Doesn't matter.
They've been together a while.
Okay.
And she's home with the kids. It sounds like she prefers it that way.
See, this is one of those questions where this question is not the actual question. I think the question is, why does he want to be out till 5 or 6 in the morning away from his family every single weekend? What is he running away from? And honestly, I remember the times in my life where, what's the age again?
She's 28 and he's 33.
Yeah,
and he supports them.
Okay,
so he's
works. Still at that age where he's kind of like, it's the wild oat age.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's sowing the oats.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the oats they're in the silo.
And they've been together for 7 years, so since he was 26.
Yeah. I think he's having a little bit of like I missed out on some time, party time. And I think he's really, for the first time, embracing this kind of lifestyle and like trying to catch up maybe on lost time. I also don't think he's cheating, because it would be so
I know it's too over the top.
It's too over the top.
5, 6 a.m. It's too up.
He'd be more surreptitious about it.
100%. Such a great word.
He'd be like, oh, business trip. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I shouldn't laugh. Sorry, that's bad.
Yeah.
But that does happen.
Yeah, you don't go out. If you're going to cheat on your spouse, you don't go out till 5 or 6 a.m. every single weekend unless you literally are making it obvious, like, I'm cheating on you. Let's break up. Like, why are you not leaving
Which I
me?
do not think is happening.
I think they have a good relationship. I think the issue here is not the relationship. I'm going to go on a limb here because oftentimes it would be if you're trying to escape from something. I think it's actually that he didn't get this previously enough and he's catching up. I think he wants to have his cake and eat it too. I think he wants the family. He likes his kids. He likes his wife. She's his common law wife at this point. I think he's trying to sort of catch up for some partying he missed out on, or maybe he felt like he didn't get his full party era completed. Honestly, if I was her, I'd be pretty bummed that one full night every single weekend is completely shot. I'm not involved. And the next day, I can't imagine he's waking up crisp at 8 a.m, ready to have a day. He's probably completely destroyed the next day.
Yeah.
So every weekend of our life is taken away from me. I've got these kids that I'm dealing with. I'm amazed she's tolerating this. To be honest, she's a very doting wife to be dealing with this.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to look at this one. First, she is introverted, so it is not a cost to her to stay home. I'm getting my older sister vibes from this. Like, her social life is her family. That's how she likes it. She had 4 kids for a reason, that she's really her happiest at home. So I'm going to take her at face value with that and not assume that there's some other thing. Because otherwise there's so many ways we can look at this. We can pick this apart in every direction.
As we're talking, I'm thinking of 5 more ways.
And another thing that sort of stands out to me is the fact that he's solely supporting this family. There's 2 ways to look at that. One is the pressure of that, and then maybe a desire to release that pressure once in a while, once a week or more.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And also possibly a sense of entitlement that comes. I'm not saying that he's definitely this person, but I think there are people like this where it's like, well, I'm the breadwinner, which means I get to do what I want.
Yeah.
The title of her email is, I think this is interesting, is it a respect thing? So we often talk about the sort of red herring and, what actual question is being asked. And I think you're onto something with that. The fact that how interesting that, he goes and works every day. And then on the weekend, which you would think might be the time when he really connects with his family or sets aside maybe a date night, they make some sort of plan. Instead, he's going out and in fact, excluding her quite a bit from whatever he's doing for fun.
You're right. It's like, that's what I'm saying. That's their only time to really be like, here, we're going to have free, unfettered time.
Yeah.
My question that I'm sitting with now is her introversion forcing this? Like, is she like, I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
Like, you go out. I'm not going to go out. Like, and maybe they've tried going out and she's just not into it. She's like, let's get home. I want to get home to the kids. I don't want to deal with this. And look, I don't want to put this on her, but he's committing a foul here. He should not be out till 5 or 6 every weekend. Even if he's single with no girlfriend, I think that's too hardcore. Like, what's going on with that? Yeah. You're not a club owner. Like, take it easy. It's not 1983.
Maybe he's a promoter or something. She didn't say.
I mean, he basically is a promoter now, even if he's not inadvertently. But I think that if she is willing to say, let's get a babysitter and let's go out hardcore and see how that goes. That's the part that we haven't been told.
Yeah.
And I need to know, have they tried that? And he's like, this isn't fun. Or is she just like, I don't want to do this? Because if she's not making the effort to ever go out with him, this guy wants to go out.
Yes,
he wants to rage.
Clear.
He finishes his week. He's like, I don't want to be with the kids. I want to go out and party. I don't want to cheat.
No.
Although we don't know. Who knows? But I don't think he's cheating.
No, I think
he may be flirting, but he's not cheating. I don't think he's cheating.
Flirty but faithful. Hashtag.
Flirty but faithful. Huh? Anyway. But I do.
You just got embarrassed.
I got embarrassed. This is not a good title. I've decided I don't like that title. There has to be a discussion like, you are 33. You have 33. I'm not saying that's old, but it's not 23. No. You're 33 years old. You have 2 kids. You're basically married.
What are you running from?
Like, what are you missing? Like, what can I do to fill that hole that you're filling with these 5 to 6 a.m. nights? And if I can't fill it, can you rein it in a little bit? Can we spend maybe every other weekend, just spend some quality time playing board games at home. Like, just chill out.
I'm wondering if there is something that bothers her beneath this, which is the fact that instead of spending time with her, he's spending time with these new friends. You know, she asks, am I the asshole for trying to put a curfew on him, or is he not being respectful about how I feel? I feel like neither of those are really getting to the root of how she feels about this.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, actually, I feel like you're not respecting how I feel. It's like, well, how do you feel? What is the core of what bothers you about this? Is it the fact that you feel left out? Is it the fact that he's not choosing to spend time with you over this new group of friends? Is it the fact that you feel neglected? Even the email, the way it's constructed, it hits all the points, but there's a lack of like her core feeling in it. She's like, am I the asshole for wanting to put a curfew on him? Even that feels broad.
Yeah. Like,
it feels approximate.
There's a lot of detail here and no detail.
Yes, which I think, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I suspect that is how their communication around this is.
Yes.
It's broad, it's not specific, and it's not feelings based.
I don't know if the podcast was the first salvo of this discussion, but this should have been a many discussion thing before the podcast. Like, this should be like the breaking point where she's like, okay, I got to write into Dear Shandy. He's not listening to anything I tell him.
Yeah.
I feel like she hasn't had the initial conversations yet about this. There may have been a couple of mentions like, hey, wow, you're really going out late.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I'm getting.
I agree.
There has to be like a sit down. We got to talk. This is insane. I know you're bringing home the bacon for this family.
Yeah.
But there's a limit to how much you should be acting like a 16-year-old. Like, I want to spend time with you. If she doesn't want to spend time with them on the weekends, that's a different thing.
Even that. Notice how she never said that.
She's
never said, I want to spend time with him
Never
on the weekends. I feel left out. That's what's missing from this email. And I suspect that's what's missing from their conversations.
What's interesting about this is I'm getting the feeling, and this may be going on a limb, that she doesn't really care that much about spending time with him on the weekends. And no, hold on a second.
We're coming full circle.
Yeah. A little bit. And she doesn't want to join him. She doesn't want to go out. She's an introvert. She said that.
Yeah.
She gave us that information. So she is actually feeling disrespected, even though she doesn't necessarily care about the logistics of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like she feels like she's being socially cheated on.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically like, this is where I'm having fun.
Yes.
Then I'm coming home
to the work.
To my drudgery with you. I have to be honest, I know of a situation like very similar to this of a friend of mine from a ways back. Not anymore, but in the old days. And very similar situation. Partied every weekend hard till the wee hours of the morning.
And he supported his family?
Interestingly, the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
She was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And what about, they had kids?
And it's interesting because...
Wait, did they have kids?
Yeah,
this is important.
2 kids.
Okay.
She didn't want to go out, ever.
Yeah. Okay.
And when they went out, it was kind of like a really mellow, like, dinner, quick home.
Okay.
Like, she wasn't into going out.
Yeah.
And I don't think she complained much about him being out.
Oh. Maybe it didn't bother her. When you go out once in a while and have a rager with your friends, I love it. I'm like, go have fun with your friends. I love it when you get to do that. But I have to admit, if you did it every weekend, and it's not like I'm even like looking after kids at home, I would be a little like, why is it that your default for fun is with other people?
Well, that's the thing. It seems like he's really getting his rocks off without her. She's the family and the fun is outside.
Yeah.
And I don't think she feels great about that, even though she doesn't want to have that kind of fun.
Yeah. Yes. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I relate to that, actually.
He's cheating on her with activities.
Yes.
He's cheating on her with a life outside of their life. He's literally has a mistress, and that mistress is partying.
His cars.
Yeah, his cars. Yeah, his work. He's got this whole garage full of beautiful cars.
Okay, I think we've answered this one as well as we can. Yeah. I don't think she's the asshole for trying to put a curfew on him, but I also don't think he's necessarily being disrespectful of how she feels. I think that there's some miscommunication happening here, and maybe just by the fact that there isn't much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has to make her feelings and desires known very clearly.
Yeah, and I feel like she first has to make it clear with herself.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
S. Good luck. I think that you're going to need it, actually, because this is something that will take reflection.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck. All right. This next question is from Anonymous, but it's worth noting that it is a Mandy.
A Mandy? A Mandy? A full Mandy?
Oh, it's a Gandy, technically.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
it's
good.
a guy.
That's still good.
He's under 36, making him not yet a man.
But again.
I mean, the title of the email is A Male Shandy Makes an Appearance. So he's opening by talking in the third person.
He recognizes his importance.
Dear Shandy, I've been listening to your podcast for around 2 years now and have found the insight you offer to be so useful in navigating the trials and tribulations that life has thrown at me. So I'd like to start by saying thank you for providing us Shandys with such a good podcast. Thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah.
Today, I want to raise a topic that I don't think has been touched on before. So let's set the scene. As the title suggests, I am a rare male Shandy. I'm 25 and I'm from the UK. I'm at the point where I've realized I'm not super interested in casual dating and would like to find something serious. Since I grew up in a generation where dating apps were normalized, almost all of my dating history has been due to dating apps, with only 1 or 2 situationships coming from people I've met in the real world. I'm really lucky in that I can date quite easily online. I'm an average-looking guy and I know how to hold a conversation, so dating hasn't really been an issue. Even though the apps have served me well, I'd really like to start opening myself up to the opportunity to meet someone in real life, except I don't know how. There are rarely any chances to meet women through my social circles, and working in a male-dominated industry means my office is no use either. I plan on resetting this by moving to London next year. However, I can't bank on that working out, as I think making friends as an adult can be really difficult, something that people need to talk about more. On top of this, the years of online dating has led me to only have confidence in that space. And in the real world, I don't have any. I don't know how to be charming or funny when I first meet a woman, and the thought of approaching someone I find attractive is terrifying. I don't think I'm alone in this. While I know a few guys that are good with girls, a lot of my guy friends have no idea how to talk to women either, and I think it would be really helpful to touch on this. So, I have questions for both of you. For Andy, how do you suggest a guy builds his confidence with meeting women? And for Sharleen, how and where do women want to meet men in the real world? Thank you both, Anonymous.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, this one I love and I hate.
Yeah.
Not because of the question or the Gandy. It's just like it frustrates me that online dating has become so ubiquitous that now a guy has no confidence that he sees someone he's interested in.
Right.
And he's like, well, can't do that.
This guy could have been, it had without online dating. Let's say he was born, 50 years ago.
Does it have to be 50 years ago?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the earliest, 45, 40 maybe.
Okay.
But he's ruined. No. But for now, ruined for now.
Yeah.
It can be reanimated.
Well, I'm not worried about him in particular because he wrote this email. I mean, It shows he wants to spread his wings beyond the apps.
The want is the most important thing.
Totally.
Because a lot of guys are like, why would I want to do that? I can just sit here like swipey swipe all day long.
No risk.
Yeah. No, the want is huge. And the want is what's going to get him to the next step. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying this is the venue where women are necessarily always the most open to advances, but it is the odds-on best place to sharpen your teeth.
Okay.
Is that what you say? Sharpen your teeth or your pencil? You can sharpen your teeth. Cut your teeth.
Cut your teeth.
Yeah, you don't sharpen your teeth. So go to a bar. That's where it's done.
Okay.
Go to a bar, and go to a bar where the people at that bar are your kind of people. Don't go to like some rager club if you're introverted. Don't go to some like gross pub like it smells like barf and beer if you're like, really refined and don't like that kind of stuff. Just go to a place that fits you. Where the people are your people, like Cheers, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody knows your name, dun, 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 and they're always glad you came. You can get there. You gotta go where people know. People are all the same.
That's hard.
You gotta go where everybody knows your name.
I haven't thought of that in years.
Yeah.
That's a great tune.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I feel sad. I feel like that's out of date.
Out of date, yeah.
You want to go where everyone knows your name? Like,
no, I want to go to an app where everyone's hot and they accept my swipes. Oh. I mean, how can you say that's better?
Yeah.
How can anyone say, when we're like, oh, you're being old-timey, you're old-fashioned,
Yeah.
how can anyone say that's better than it used to be?
No, it's true.
It's definitively worse.
Yes.
No question.
Totally.
I don't care how old you are.
And
If you're
I'm
12
sorry.
or 100, it's worse.
Also, the risk of approaching strangers, you know, like I just feel like a guy who was not raised in Anonymous's time has more. It's not a diss on you, Anonymous. I just think it's like sort of universal. You're inherently going to have less character because it's the bumps and bruises and the scrapes along the way. It's the rejection that builds character.
There's 100%. There's a million analogies for this. The caged lion is the ultimate. So you put a lion in a cage, you throw him meat. He's not going to be able to hunt.
Yeah.
You take a dog, you turn him into like a Pomeranian. You take a wolf.
A chi-pom.
Yeah,
a
cheap.
A pom-chi.
A pom-chi. What did we saw
Pom-a-poo.
Didn't we see a short, what did we see the other day? We see a corgi, a Pomeranian corgi?
Yeah.
A porgy or a
porgy.
Corgoranian.
It was very cute.
It was cute, but a little weird. It was too much.
Okay, what's your point with
my
the cute
point
dogs?
is, you take a wolf, you turn it into a Pomeranian. It does no. You throw it in the jungle, it's going to get eaten by a squirrel.
Yeah,
literally has no idea. This is the king. The wolf was the top. Now look at dogs.
Not all dogs, but yes.
I mean,
I know
lot
what
of
you mean.
dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, a French bulldog. Like basically all 25-year-olds. Yeah, French bulldog. Can you imagine? Trying to steal meat from a lion. I don't see the lion. You know what? The lion wouldn't even react.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing as if a fly landed on the meat. You'd just be like, well, this is not an animal that I care about. So all these 25-year-olds are French bulldogs. The bottom line is they don't know how to hunt. Mm-hmm. And the best way, just the advice part, I can rant all day about this, but the advice part I will give you is go to a bar again, that fits your crowd, that you like the crowd there. You feel comfortable there. It feels like your people. Go with a friend. Don't go alone. Go with a friend, a wingman, someone who's presentable, who's not going to make a fool of you, who's not going to belittle you in front of people, who knows how to
throw
actually
you under the bus for his own gain.
Yeah. And one caveat with these wingmen, very important. The wingman has to be able to handle himself. So if you go talk to somebody, he's not just going to glom on and have to be there the whole time.
Yes.
He's going to be like, he's got his thing. I'm going to let him go. And now I'm on my own.
And also you
that's
have to be that wingman back.
Absolutely. You have to be wingman. Again, think of it like an actual plane. You're not just wingman. Think of it literally. It's a literal thing. It's survival here. Go with someone like that. Find yourself a wingman. Number one, most important thing.
And that's not necessarily forever. I think it's just to get started.
Just to get started.
Yeah.
Because once you get comfortable with a wingman, you can go out solo or you can split off from your friends and go alone to parts of our, and you can handle yourself. But to start, you need a wingman. And the basic thing you need to do is look like you're having a good time. You can't be sullen, like looking around, like staring, no woman likes that.
No, it's so true. The confidence piece
it's huge.
Everyone talks about how that's the most important thing, and it's so
true. Important. The whole sleight of hands with picking up people of any kind is that you have to seem like you're not trying to pick up people.
Yes.
So you can't be sitting against the wall with your friend just staring creepily at all the cute girls that walk by.
So true.
Or even not creepily, just not smiling, like not talking to each other and just sort of like, let's see, who am I going to talk to? No one likes that.
Yeah.
You have to look like you're having fun. You have to look like you're not there to pick up women. You have to be actually having fun with your friend, laughing, talking. And then when the time is right, you see someone that you want to talk to. Maybe she's already made eye contact with you. Fantastic. That's a huge plus, even though that may not happen every time. You don't always get that. Make the eye contact, offer to buy her a drink, period. That's it. I know it's as old as time. That's the way to do it in a bar.
He can graduate to more advanced moves down the road.
This is 101. Yeah, this is 101. This is how to do it. Go to a bar. Good wingman. Look like you're having fun. Be confident. Make eye contact. Offer to buy a drink. Have something to say. Do not offer to buy a drink and then just stand there and be like, good drink, huh?
Or just give a compliment and think that's going to be the conversation opener.
Sometimes that'll work, but it's cheap and it's not creative.
You know what that is? That's like trying to build a big fire using only kindling.
Yes. Good. Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice analogy.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's not great to have something prepared, but have something prepared. Think about it all week. It's got to be something that shows interest in them. It's not just self-interested. It's not just about you. It's not you just trying to be funny. It seems natural. It seems friendly. It's something specific. Make it very specific. And engage and just keep it going. Just stupid conversation.
I mean, Andy's opening line to me, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Yeah, the emphasis on
the
you. And there's also a so. So what are you doing here? First words.
Yeah, it's almost as base as like, do you come here often?
But what's funny is that if you are meant to have a good conversation with that person, the conversation will emerge.
Yes.
And if you aren't meant to have a good conversation with that person, or they're not interested, then a good conversation won't emerge, and then you have your answer.
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
and when the time is right, get the phone number. Don't even get I don't know what they get, Instagram handles now.
I don't think.
I say go phone number.
I agree.
Go phone number.
I
Get
agree.
that right to the heart of it. That shows confidence because everyone's going to ask for, oh, you on Instagram? Oh, that's sort of chicken. I feel like that's the texting equivalent of not calling someone. Just ask for their phone number.
And do you think from their call or text?
No, he texts. It's not. It's 2023. You call, you're a psychopath.
Okay, I agree, obviously, with everything you're saying. I mean, how could I top your advice? But I really think that a key thing to focus on is to open the conversation with observations.
Yes.
Like, yes, what are you doing here? But when I think of the best hit-ons with me, it's how the conversation becomes about the environment we're in.
Absolutely.
Maybe there's someone who's like really obnoxious and it's the elephant in the room and you can bond over how obnoxious you both find that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or
but keep it positive.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that bonding over hate out of the gate is not a great idea. Bonding over hate 10 minutes later is fantastic.
I'm thinking more humorous. It's like we can both exchange this knowing look over this thing and that bonds us, and then we can go into more positive territory.
Absolutely.
It's more like you're constantly filtering who your people are.
Yeah.
And when I have felt that with a guy, I've instantly felt bonded with him because it's like we already have this understanding. We speak, at least one of the languages we speak are the same.
100% agree with you. And it reminds me of, then this isn't a line. I actually, it got to I didn't really have lines.
I know.
Andy
was very advanced.
When I was early, I did, like probably in college, but I didn't have lines. It would just be, this is what I did. And I don't think this is not a strategy. I want to make it clear. This is how I am. This is how I think. So I was showing me.
Yeah.
What do you think about fill in the blank? That's a great opener because what it does is, and it's something super random. It's like, what do you think about the meaning of life? That's hacky.
Yeah.
That's like a magician. That's like a professional magician asked you to pick up that's like in that book, The Player.
Oh,
that's like something the game. They'd be like, what do you think about something huge? No, don't do that. What do you think about something really specific? That's something that you would imagine a woman in this bar would be mildly interested in,
okay,
at the very least. What do you think about
blank?
That.
All right.
That's it. That's your line. I'm giving it to you. You don't even have to think of one. Just think of what the thing is. And you kind of have to figure that out when you get there because it's going to be something in the bar.
And practice makes perfect. I mean,
Absolutely.
He will become less terrified over time the more he does this.
Yeah.
And the more he realizes that, and I'm going to speak for women now, women largely are not bothered by being approached by a guy as long as they're not creepy. It doesn't feel ambiguous.
Yes.
I don't like it when a guy is sort of like beating around the bush.
Making believe he's not hitting on you.
Yes.
You hit on her. Guys don't talk to girls in bars because they just want to make friends 99% of the time.
Okay. And I just want to add to, in addition to the bar setting, I think a restaurant setting at the bar. Like when I think back to my single days, I would often get dinner by myself at a restaurant bar. And I was always open to being spoken to, even if I wasn't single and looking. It's like it's a good place. It's a good opener.
Sure, absolutely. In my experience, what a woman wants, she wants in a bar.
Yeah,
in a bar setting.
She doesn't want to feel like a number. First of all,
she doesn't want to feel like a number. She wants to feel special. She wants to feel like you are interested to hear about her.
Yeah.
And she wants but
not in a creepy way where you're only interrogating and you're not revealing anything about yourself.
Yes. She wants 1 part mystery, 2 parts light. Like she wants it to be, she doesn't want darkness. She wants light. You can bring the darkness later, but start with light.
Bring in the darkness.
Yeah, you can always bring darkness and the darkness will come, but not at the outset. 1 part mystery, 2 parts light, 5 parts confidence. That's it. What do you think about, I'm going to buy you a drink. Done.
And also, don't make the drink feel transactional.
Not transactional. I'm buying you a drink, but you know what? I'm buying me a drink. I'm buying drinks. I'm buying everybody drinks.
I'm getting myself a drink while I'm at it. I'll get your drink.
Yeah, I'm getting you a drink.
And what I like about the buying of the drink is it's old school and states intent.
Absolutely.
But it also, she has the option to decline.
Yes.
And it doesn't, if it feels too transactional, like I'm buying you a drink, which means now you owe me the next hour of your time. No, don't do that.
And very important, maybe the most important, if you fail, try and try and try again. You will fail. You know, the fear is, I think if I was just an internet guy and I'd never met girls in real life, I would fear that I'd ask someone for a drink and they'd be like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah.
The worst you're going to get is like, oh, I have a boyfriend, or, oh, no, thanks.
Yeah.
Like really nice. No one's gonna be mean. No one's gonna be like, how dare you ask for, who do you think you are? Never gonna happen. So the worst case scenario is it's a very polite brush off. And even if that happens 1, 2, 3 times in a row, that's fine. Those are statistics. You're not gonna hit it on the first time, most likely. Keep going.
Yes.
Keep going.
Okay.
And confidence every time. Don't ever seem like you're sick of asking people to buy them drinks.
I just want to add too, the type of woman who responds with why are you talking to me?
You don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, that write them off. Like that was never meant to be. Trust me. There are a lot of women who will respond, even if they're not interested, politely. This has always bothered me. I can think of 2 girlfriends that I used to go out with, and it was always excruciating because they would want to be hit on. And then if the guy hitting on them wasn't exactly what they were looking for, they would treat him like garbage. It always made my skin crawl because everyone is worthy of respect. Yeah. And so if a woman treats you without respect when you make this effort and you're not creepy about it and all the things that we've told you to be, then that's on her. And thank God that you know from the onset that you don't have to waste your time with them.
And some people say, oh, that's old fashioned. That's stupid. And what if someone doesn't drink? Okay, we can talk about all the million things.
Buy them a mocktail.
Buy them a seltzer. Who cares? Yeah. It's the best way to screen as well as engage in conversation. Alcohol has been the lubricant of social interactions for literally thousands of years. It is tried and true. Yeah, even if you don't drink. Yeah. In the environment of alcohol and drinking, there's an environment. Yes. It's just where you should start. It's the easiest place, even if it's non-alcoholic. And I will say this last thing, because I've said a lot here. Go for a friendly, receptive face.
Open face.
Open.
Yes.
Open.
Yes.
Receiving.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep. Okay. Anonymous. Good luck.
Compliment shoes. That's always good.
Is that a trick?
I've done that.
Really?
That was if I had to look back at all my openers, I would say if there was one that repeated, it was a shoe comment.
Really?
Yeah, I always went for a shoe.
Okay.
I would talk about someone's shoe.
I have to admit, when I was complimented on my shoes by guys, I'd be like, why, thank you.
There you go. Yeah. So you can use that one too.
Yeah. It's better than just like, oh, you're so beautiful. Yeah. It's like I'm noticing something else, something that reflects taste, detail orientedness, observation. Okay. Good luck.
Shoe.
Well, Andy, it's that time of year when one might be looking over their purchases of 2023, thinking about where they spent money, where they could have saved money.
And that shame will start setting in hard.
Is that the direction we're going in with this Rocket Money ad? Well, when we sign up for subscriptions, online subscriptions, which, charge us every single month, we usually do it with good intentions. We're like, oh, it's a free trial. Oh, it's only $3.99 a month. It's this tiny little thing. And it can get away from you unless you have Rocket Money, which keeps an eye on all this stuff. And they can cancel your unwanted subscriptions with one tap.
Every time I go, I think it's going to be more complicated than I remember it being.
Yeah.
I swear, I'm like, there's no way I remember it that easy.
Yeah.
Or I did remember it that easy. There's no way that's a true memory. It's so easy. I feel like I'm ripping Rocket Money off.
It's the Robin Hood of your wallet online, truly. Yeah. Because otherwise you are bleeding money. And did you know that over 80% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about? And I am 100%, or I was pre-Rocket Money, one of those people.
And most people think they're paying $80 a month when it's really closer to $200.
Scary, right?
$200 a month.
Oh my God. That's a legitimate amount of money. Can you imagine if you caught that, you saved that? That's found money.
You know, I had a subscription. This is embarrassing. It was $3.99 a month. And every time I was like, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next month. Do you know how many months went by without me canceling that? And I never used it. 36 months. 36 times, let's call it 4. What is that? That's $144. I literally threw in the garbage purely because it was too much friction to cancel that subscription.
And with Rocket Money, they are like, hey, you know, this thing, are you using it? Do you actually want this?
In 30 seconds.
Amazing. And to further drive home my Peter Pan comparison, do you know that they can lower your bills? They negotiate your bills for you. So you can take a photo of your bill, send it to Rocket Money, and they will do the rest. So Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills all in one place.
With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year.
That's $1 billion in total savings so far.
Stop wasting money on things you don't use.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Shandy.
That's rocketmoney.com/Shandy, rocketmoney.com/Shandy. Apostrophe, such a low fee, apostrophe for you and me.
It's true. Apostrophe's deal that we give them with our code is unbelievable. You can get a board-certified dermatologist to review your skincare situation for $5. $5? Are you kidding me?
That's basically you're just giving gratuity.
Yes.
Here's something for your trouble. And the guy's like, really? That's it? It's like, yeah, just keep your money. It's okay.
So Apostrophe is one of our earliest sponsors, actually, and we continue to love Apostrophe. Basically, it connects you with board-certified dermatologists so you can get access to prescription skincare, oral and topical, without ever leaving your sofa.
I want all of my healthcare to be Apostrophe.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
That would be the dream.
I want them to expand into other things. I want to get like heart surgery from my couch.
So with Apostrophe, you fill out their online consultation where you take selfies of your skin and you fill out what your skincare concerns are. And that could be fine lines, wrinkles. It could be acne, all the things. And then a real board certified dermatologist, not a fake one. They review your information and then will prescribe you something if they feel you need it. And then this is the best part, it's delivered directly to your door. You never have to go to the pharmacy to pick it up.
What more do you want? What more do you want is what I asked.
And we'd be remiss if we did not add that it's not just
Chestney,
for your
backney, and buttney.
It's not just for your face, yes. In case you have acne on other body parts, they can help with that. So we have a special deal for our audience, the Shandys. Right now, you can get your first visit with an Apostrophe provider for only $5, a near insulting amount of money.
Yeah.
When you go
Keep your $5.
When you go to apostrophe.com/Shandy and enter promo code Shandy at checkout, that is a savings of $15, and this offer is only available to our listeners.
To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/Shandy and click Get Started.
Then use our code Shandy at sign up and you'll get your first visit for only $5. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring this episode. All right, this next question is from Carly. Dear Shandy, I started as a panda who loved Sharleen's recaps, claiming that I wasn't a podcast person. I didn't think I'd listen when the switch occurred. Alas, I missed the witty intelligence and hoped your podcast would be as good as the blog. Needless to say, I'm now a loyal Shandy and a podcast person.
Yay.
Thank you, Carly.
Wow, we turned her into a podcast person.
So nice. I love Andy's songs, your very genuine perspectives and advice, the constant laughter, and the way Sharleen says very good when Andy gets a jingle or a primary color right. Oh.
That's specific.
This is so sweet.
That's cute.
Carly, thank you.
It would have been funny if she opened an email like, I really love your Pretty Pandas blog, and I didn't think I would like the podcast, and I was right. I did not like the podcast. But here I am.
My question. My husband and I have been married 13 years. He's 39, a real man, and I'm 37.
Very nice.
We live in a medium-sized city in Virginia, have 3 kids, all elementary, and a rescue dog. We have shared passions, make each other laugh regularly, have supported each other through really difficult hardships and loss, and overall love doing life together. However, I occasionally want to throw our phones out the window. We were married before iPhones were a thing, so our relationship started out in the pre-scrolling world. Motorola Razors, baby. We didn't have lots of money, but we had fun on a budget, playing board games, Wii bowling. Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
Bowling.
DIY projects, cooking, listening to music, occasionally going out, watching The Office, etc. Now, we try not to be on our phones too much when the kids are around. Usually our alone time is at the end of the day. Once our kids are down, I'm usually toast. There's one really fun thing to do in bed, which is still a wonderful part of our relationship. But with 3 kids, our work, our families, and a full social life / extracurriculars, at the end of the day, our energy level lacks majorly, and we often resort to electronics instead of quality time.
You know what's funny? I kept thinking, I was like, what's the fun thing in bed they're talking about? That's how married I am.
And if he's not on a video game, he's on his phone and I'm on my laptop unless we specifically come up with something else. Some details. I have a limit on my phone for flagging if more than a cumulative hour is spent on social media. Most of my time is spent on texts, school stuff, other parents, close friends going through big stuff, family, etc. Next point. Most of our people communicate via text and email. Next point. My husband is a techie nerd. He loves electronics. He chills out and relaxes by reading the news or social media. Next point. I am a writer. Building social media is a huge, annoying part of trying to get your content out there. You know about this. It's the worst. Oh, do I ever, Carly? I know some couples do date nights, but if we go out for dinner once a week and need a babysitter, that's between $100 to $200 every week. I'm an adjunct professor who makes diddly and a stay-at-home parent. So we are really on one main income and try to be wise fiscally. Next point. This is probably the thing we fight about the most. Me asking him to put his phone away and him being very frustrated when I do so, or if I'm being hypocritical, which is true sometimes. I love that she can admit that.
Yeah. She's a real Shandy.
Yes. Next point. We have made a plan many times, both taking ownership. No phones between 6 and 9 p.m., putting the phone in a different room, time limits on the phone, a code word for when we see the other using it, etc. They work for a week or two, then bad habits sneak back in. I also don't want to be the one enforcing them. Not a great relationship dynamic. We have done an unplugged vacation, which was great. Technology has to be affecting all sorts of couples. We can't live without it, but I also hate its sneakily intrusive place in our relationship. I also know how important modeling using technology is for our kids. What advice would you give to a loving wife who also wants to smash her husband's phone at least once a month? Thanks for any A's to this very 2023 Q. Much love and gratitude, Carly.
Oh, Carly.
Oh, Carly. Great writing.
Very nice.
Yeah. I relate to this. This is such a tough one. And I love how she was so specific about what they used to do before they would just be exhausted on their phones. I do think having they have to work a lot. They have the kids, the family life. There's a lot to deal with. So it's like the number of hours they have together at the end of the day are very few. And oftentimes you're just like sometimes I don't even have an energy to play video games when I have finally time off because I'm like, oh, that's too active.
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, I have to cook meals.
So I have a solution to this problem.
Oh?
It's very simple.
Okay.
What you do is you get a small bowl of water. Uh-huh. Very small. Like it just could be like a breakfast bowl or like a little bigger than a breakfast bowl.
Okay.
Fill it up. And then you take the phones and you place them in the bowl. Uh-huh. You wait 3 minutes. Uh-huh. And that's it.
It sounds like they've tried a lot of things, and I don't know if we can really give advice that's going to change their lives, but I really think when I think socially what really works and what I think does help with us too is when she talked about having a time limit. It's like, okay, half an hour phone time. We're not going to communicate. This is just us doing the things. And that way you're really efficient in what you do on your phone in that time. And you're not just mindlessly scrolling because there is a time limit. And then it's like, okay, no more phones for the rest of the night.
Sure.
That to me works.
You can do that, and that does work. The issue I have with that is that it makes you hunger for that phone time.
No,
what I think is what you should try to achieve, the stasis you're looking for, is where you can just coexist with the phone in and out and not have it be this dopamine thing where you're like, oh, I got to get the phone. It's just something you live with. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a big giant mole on your arm. you don't think about it.
I was thinking like a big perpetual mosquito bite.
Yeah, it's like it's like a rash. It's like a rash on the bottom of your foot. Oh. And you're just like, you know what? You take deep breaths and you're like, I know it itches. I'm not going to itch it. I'm in a meeting now.
Yeah.
I'm with my family. I have a shoe on. I'm in the street.
Yeah.
When I get home, I'm going to have a good itch. But I'm not going to think about that itch.
Doesn't that sound awful? I feel like we are a little bit like that.
I've had that before too, like where it's like there's something at the bottom of your foot.
Oh, there's nothing worse.
This is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Or when your sock, the worst thing is when your sock's rolled up under your foot and you have a shoe on and you're out and you don't have time to like take your shoe off and put your sock.
Well, that's the difference between us is I will pull over, like I will get on a bench. I will do what I need to do to pull up that sock.
You respect them. Like I really should do that. I should get in the habit of that because there's nothing in life that upsets me more than a rolled up sock under my foot.
I totally agree. Okay.
Anyway, that being said, I think that instead of creating rules about the phone, I think you should create more activities that cannot involve the phone.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's an addiction.
Yes.
I don't think you should treat it like addiction, but you're giving it too much weight. I think you should just force it out by creating things that it can't be involved in.
Okay. This is tough. I mean, I think in our relationship, well, I'm definitely the more phone averse one.
Yeah.
Like we came back from dinner last night and I didn't know where my phone was this morning. I was like, oh, I never took it out of my handbag.
Yeah, no, I can attest to that because sometimes I really need you.
Yeah.
And I'm like texting you and calling you and it's like 2 hours go by.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I think my friends have just come to accept this about me and I don't think it's their favorite thing about me. I'm just not on my phone.
That's great.
often.
I applaud you. I am so impressed.
Well, it just doesn't make me happy.
That's amazing. You have the ability to choose not to do something that doesn't make you happy.
It doesn't even, but it's not even like choosing. It would be choosing to find my phone and be on it. For me, it affects my mood. Like I've noticed that I'm more down.
Wow.
Especially if it's like the mindless scrolling.
Yeah.
But
good for you.
what's interesting about their relationship is that he really seems to kind of get off on the phone. Like he's into reading articles on there. He's like a tech nerd. He loves. I think that I don't know if I have advice for this.
There's no advice. It's the world we live in. That's why I'm saying instead of creating rules around it, just learn how to live with it in a more manageable way. Accept it. It's part of our lives.
Yeah.
But just respect it. As opposed to just, I feel there's something about the rules that gives it too much weight.
Oh.
It's creating too much elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to think like, ooh, another 10 minutes till my phone time. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to this all day. Respect the phone. I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But as I said, if you create rules, you create a monster.
Yeah.
You're giving it the power.
All right. I had a different take than you, but I think you're probably right, honestly.
They're not kids. Remember, if you're dealing with kids, this
Then
is
you
totally
need
different.
rules,
You're
yeah.
dealing with a 3-year-old. You can't just be like, yeah, just,
Here's
use
your
the phone
iPad.
with respect.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I got it, Mom. I'm cool.
Yeah.
You got to act like an adult about it. Don't let it become an addiction. Just manage it. You're like, I'm going to use the phone when I really want to, not for mindlessness. That's the problem. The problem is the phone is no longer like a thing. You're like, oh, I really want to read some articles. I'm going to look at my phone.
Yeah.
It's like, I really want a cigarette because I'm emotionally feeling something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I feel bored. I feel stressed. I feel excited. I feel sad. I feel depressed. Something's going on emotionally where you're like, oh, cigarette. It's just like a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's not coming from a real place. It's coming from a place of fear.
And distraction.
It's coming from a place like I could
Numbing.
look. It's numbing. It's just, you've never smoked. I smoked briefly a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're like, oh, I feel emotion. I feel full after a meal. I feel really happy. I just got a promotion. I feel sad. I'm depressed. I'm distracted. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Cigarette. Just flattens it out. And that is where the addiction comes in, and you have to overcome that. So when you're feeling sad, or when you're feeling bored, or when you're feeling nervous, or some emotion is making you feel less than comfortable in a stasis environment, you say, you know what? I'm not going to go for the phone. I'm just going to sit with these feelings.
Oh, Andy.
Spoken like someone who absolutely doesn't do this.
You're better.
But I know.
Well, you're better
I
because
know of it because I do this.
Yeah. And also, I think because I am on your case about this, my big thing with Andy is like the distraction element. Like if we're watching a show, like we've carved out time to watch, we're like Netflixing something, and then you're on your phone while we're watching it. I'm like, do you really need 2 screens at once? Like, what are you getting out of either thing?
Well, that's the ultimate. That's where it becomes, that's where I recognize that's a problem above a problem.
Yeah.
That's like that's the end. That's where someone's in the final throes of some addiction. You're like, this person, they have to be institutionalized.
Yeah.
Like they can't be on their own anymore.
But are you annoyed with me when I say...
I am. The fact of the matter is I'm annoyed with myself. The annoyance you may feel coming to you is with myself. I'm like, oh my God, look at me. You're shining a light on something that I'm so disappointed in myself with.
Oh.
And I get annoyed at the only thing that's near me. I'm like, I'm not looking at my phone.
He gets like that.
I do.
You're like, I'm just looking at this one thing.
Yeah, and I feel ashamed. I'm like,
shame.
look at me. It's so embarrassing. It's literally like someone going like hiding cigarettes under like the toilet or something. And you're like, are you going to the toilet to get your cigarettes that you hid there? You're like, no, I'm making a poop. Poop.
A flower, Andy.
Oh, sorry.
A flower.
Well,
I don't
for
know.
other people.
I don't know that P word. What is that?
I wasn't talking about us. I was talking about other people. Other people that poop.
Only flowers in this house.
That's right.
Okay. Did we answer this? I feel like we didn't. I think this is a good
we did.
question to put out into the universe for other Shandies. In the comments, they can contribute if there's something that has worked for them. I think that this is a universal problem now, and it makes me sad. I think what's lovely about their relationship is that she said, like, we were together Motorola Razr days, like,
and they had more fun.
They had
more ideas. They had more flow.
Yeah.
This is what I've done. I've started to do. I haven't told you this, but this is what I've started to do with my phone because I've realized I have a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
I'm like, yes.
I don't disagree so quickly. But I say to myself, think of the great people in history.
Yeah.
The greats.
Okay.
You know, like Socrates, Amelia Earhart, Plato,
Okay.
Einstein. I don't know.
Amelia Earhart, who ranked kind of low on our power ranking from our
I don't know.
anniversary Q&A.
Sorry. But I mean, she's still low on a huge list. She's
well,
low
she
on a
lost
huge
to
list.
Green, the color green.
The color green.
Okay.
Come on. That's
okay.
hard.
I'll link that out here.
Yeah. And I think to myself, like, Hemingway. Like
Okay.
great,
Okay.
like,
We
you
get
know
the
what I'm
point.
talking about.
Yes.
I think to myself, if these people had a phone, not a single one of them would have done what they did. And I know that for a fact. There is no way that you would ever think of the name Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart I don't know why I keep saying Amelia Earhart.
It's a great name.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
What
Great
a
woman,
great name. But it wouldn't be a great name. You're like, oh, Amelia Earhart? Oh yeah, who's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she works in accounting. I don't know. She's a
She
mid-level
works in
accounting person. Oh yeah, Amelia Earhart. I remember her from accounting.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think
Brown
of that
hair.
name.
Yeah. About 5'5".
Yeah, her work hasn't been up to snuff recently, to be honest. Looking on that phone a lot. But these names would be lost in history. No Hemingway, no Socrates, no Einstein. Maybe Einstein. He would have still figured out how to beat the phone, even with it. But the phone would have ruined life for these people. They never would have accomplished it, but they would have been so distracted. Every time they were sitting, when Einstein's sitting there thinking about the theory of relativity or space-time continuum, do you realize how many hours in a row he had to sit? And we're talking about possibly one of the smartest brains that ever existed in the universe. You know how many hours? 10, 15, 16, literally wake up in the morning to sit at the edge of his bed thinking to get to the theory of relativity. That time slows down when something's going faster, when there's more gravity, and then to figure out that gravity's not a thing, it's actually a curvature in space-time. Do you think that he could have figured that out if he was sitting there looking at Instagram all day? No. Definitively no.
No.
And I think about that, and every time I look at the phone, I think this is one more second that you're not going to be great.
Oh.
You're just taking your greatness chance is just ticking down.
Yeah, but it's not even, let's say you don't care about being great.
No,
let's say
anything.
you care about being happy.
Or just care about...
Does it make you really happy to sit there scrolling on your phone mindlessly?
Yes, happy, but also your potential. Forget about great. My potential probably isn't great. It's probably like fine.
I think you have great potential.
My potential is above average. That's my goal. Okay. Right above, like average is here. I'm like sitting right on it, like on a park bench.
Okay.
Anyway, to get to above average, my potential, I am now sinking. I'm sinking. As a matter of fact, every time I look at the phone, I'm now below average. I am below the average of what I was going to be without phones. I know it. I'm well below it. I can feel it.
Oh.
I feel my thoughts not being clear. I feel my thoughts not being a train. It's more like a derail. It's like a train that's derailing.
Yeah.
The cars
You're getting
are falling
off at every
the
stop.
rails. Yeah, it never gets a chance to get momentum.
Yeah.
And every time I pick up the phone, I think, no space-time continuum, no of mice and men, no for whom the bell tolls, no airplanes, no philosophy, nothing with these phones. There would be nothing. We'd be sitting around like a bunch of idiots, like I guess, looking at phones that some smart person who wasn't looking at phones created for us.
Andy, you've never told me this before.
Well, now you've heard it.
Okay, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I have noticed an improvement.
A little bit. It's baby steps.
Okay.
Thank you.
I feel like we can't really answer this question. I feel like this is just like the awareness is the first step.
Yeah.
Like when I first realized how my phone, all it really did was either distract me or give me anxiety, I just decided to reach for it less. And then I was happier.
We met this last weekend. We met a girl who had a flip phone.
Yes.
Flip phone Lisa. And she was, you agreed, one of the happiest looking people we've seen
100%.
in months.
Her eyes looked clear.
Open.
Yes.
There was an open channel. You could go right into her eyes, into her soul, and come right back out her
she
butthole.
looked was...
That's where the soul ends.
It gets flowered out.
That's right.
She looked present.
She looked like there was, if you were talking to her, she was with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And not just listening like academically, but like in you.
Yeah.
Oh man, these phones.
Okay. Well, I think we'll stop there. With like this was a conversation more than an A to a Q. Yeah. A good Q. If we had a really good A to your Q, I promise we would share it. But I think that this is a universal problem right now.
You know, I just realized,
what?
I actually think of all the people I mentioned, Amelia Earhart might exist with a phone, but she'd be like a huge Instagram star. It would just be all the pictures of her like in the plane.
Yeah, but it would only make her a little more annoying.
She'd be so annoying. You're like, oh, let me guess, another plane photo. Where are you now? Ugh. Oh my God, you know what her handle would be?
What?
Oh my, this is good. This is 100% true.
What?
It would be Amelia Air with the heart emoji.
Oh, good, Andy. You're proud of that one.
Actually, now that I think about it, that's pretty interesting that her name was Earhart.
Yeah. Maybe that's why she became what she became.
That was like when we figured out the other day that nothing is no thing.
Yes. That wasn't the other day. It was last night. And we were both mind blown.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
But you said no thing. And I was like, why is she pronouncing that?
Okay. I think that's a wrap for this Q&A. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you. And that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.